pride of South Carolina, right? It's the pride of the Carolinas in general, is Peabnut.
True, true. He's a player that has been making the Carolinas proud on just about every stage has set his feet to. So now we have to see if Peeb's got what it takes to extend his lead over Zomba, or if the best player in the world will reassert his dominance and make yet another appearance into the latter half of this top 8.
Yeah, they played 2 or 3 times this year. Peabnut winning 3-1, 3-0. It's been dominant so far, and Zomba does not look, not to be offensive in any way, he doesn't look in form.
At this point right here, already getting started with a little bit of aggression from Peabnut, I have been impressed with the way that he's been approaching his matches. Typically, you think Mega Man, you think a zoner, you think he's going to back off and apply pressure. Instead, he goes in almost as much as he goes out. Yeah, this is a little bit of a shimmy, shake, and then step back up and let them know.
Classic. Peabnut showing all of this movement prowess, all of this spacing prowess, and the thing that I love Peabnut most for, changing the pace of the game when needed. Putting on the gas and then being happy to hit the brakes.
Look at that, the up smash underneath the platform. Zomba thought he had a free landing right there, just drifting ever so slowly back. Peabnut feeling himself perhaps a little bit too much with that dash back up smash.
That's what we saw last set too, I feel like, is Peabnut, last time that we saw him on the screen, just going for something really aggressive really early on, happy to do that. Drifting a little bit more with the down air, but doesn't quite make it back. You have to wait for that end lag, and Zomba knows.
This is that top player differential. You give Zomba the ability, he's going to take your stock for free every single time. Double up air will seal the deal, though. Big bodies get trapped in that so frequently.
Yeah, big hurt box means big wind catch. Peabnut trying to get back to stage.
Good parry, and then the presence of mind to do the dash grab. Recognize the Zomba chose a defensive option directly thereafter. Intelligent from Peab.
Peabnut can't quite get the cadence going again. Zomba is now the one controlling it. And I think both of them, with various projectiles, has the ability to really control the pace of the game. Neutral is the core. Who wins the first interaction is the person that controls the next 10 seconds.
So what I desperately want to see in this match is I want to see Peabnut get a couple combos with Gyro, and then Zomba in response take away Metal Blade and do the same thing.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely.
Let's have a trade.
Give the robots each their circles.
All right, more up airs, and then forcing Zomba to run off the platform, only meet him with the forward air, trying to get something going here, but this man's got fuel for days. He's going to back off and just reset.
Both of these players fully adept at resetting, but I think the character that's more adept at reversaling when in disadvantage is Peabnut's Mega Man. The Leaf Shield is just so useful, but wow, that...
He took the headset off. At the end of that, Zomba just starts shaking his head, takes the headset off, just like, listen, I need to hear. The crowd goes silent when I get up aired twice again.
Yeah. Got to lock in one way or the other. Sometimes it's taking the headphones off. Both these robots still battling against each other. Peabnut, a lot of rage on deck, but it's not really going to matter too much if you can't find damage with it. Dancing backwards, this is that brakes hitting that we were talking about with Peabnut, being able to control the cadence.
Dude plays like he's on ice skates. You never know what angle he's going to take next. The pivots forward and back, it's got me shaking in my boots, and I'm 15 feet away.
Peabnut loves looking for these down airs when above their opponent. Just sometimes it'll catch, sometimes it won't, but it's pretty safe. Speaking of safe, that up air is going to hit massively. Multi-hit, doesn't matter where you are, that's going to catch you.
In addition, that's a long animation. When you get the Crash Bomber on you, it's just going to stop your animation. You can respond aggressively again. It's like, thanks for the reset, I didn't need this lag anyway.
Crash Bomber shielded. I think that's really crucial, right? Just Zomba shielding the Crash Bomber to be able to continue the ledge trap and now into the edge guard.
Doesn't get the down air, though. Doesn't get the back air either. Good roll on, but rolling directly into the waiting arms of Zomba, who had the up tilt up air ready. It looks like perhaps we may have some kind of a technical difficulty there. Is that what it is? He seems like he's pointing at one of the production folks. So perhaps that's what we were seeing there with the headset getting tossed off immediately. Yeah,
maybe audio went away or audio is scuffed in some way. I think that seems to be the case. He was pointing at the audio. I think Peabnut said something about it being louder or maybe it's too quiet. But in any case, Zomba took off the headset for a reason. Still was able to close out that game with or without audio.
Can we talk about how just that can throw players off so much? It's one of those, again, we talk about the mentality of top players, and that is just a great example of it. Dude took off the headset after losing stock, locked in, and got it done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think game audio in general can be a big factor for or against players. We saw that big discussion that happened recently with, across various events, but one in particular where game audio played such a big factor that one player was willing to
fight over it, basically.
To fight over it, to lose their first place pot bonus just because they could not get the game audio that they wanted. Their opponent wouldn't agree to it. It's an important thing I think you should be prepared for at any event that you're going to. Be prepared to have the audio that you want, whatever that means.
And in this matchup in particular, I feel like it is super important because the audio you get when the Crash Bomber latches onto you is really, really important. You need to react to that projectile because it can set up things like shield breaks, or it could even just give you the opportunity to transfer it back over to Mega Man. So in those positions, if you don't hear that audio, if you can't hear it latch onto you and you get taken by surprise, that can ruin your flow state.
Very true. I'm trying to think if there's any other situation in this matchup in particular where audio cues are more important than visual cues, and honestly, that's the big one. So the fact that that is something that Zomba pointed out early on, it's another thing that kind of shows matchup knowledge, but it didn't make too much of a difference at the end. Zomba did take that game. It could have, and I think that's the worry.
So this is the interesting bit. You mentioned that when Zomba and Peabnut have played over the past couple sets, it's usually 3-0 or 3-1.
Yeah.
So to keep this going, if we don't have the best player in the world in the room right now, we're going to have to see Peabnut get that reversal immediately.
Oh, yeah.
But to be honest, I'm on Team Zomba for this one. I feel like when you have that self-proclamation saying that I just am better, I am different, I am doing things different because I know it is the right way to approach these matchups, when you do that after winning a 1,500 entrant event, you might be spitting.
That's fair. This is probably the most hero versus villain matchup that we're going to have this tournament, where you've got the local pride hero person that everybody loves, wants to see win, wants to see succeed, and then Zomba, who is the self-proclaimed villain of the Smash scene, is happy to talk trash, is out of region, has red hair. I mean, basically everything going against him.
I mean, he's earned it, though.
Yes.
Like, there are so many people that hated on Rob. And then all of a sudden, every single Rob main just kind of dropped off the face of the earth except for a couple. The ones that are left are the ones that are talented enough to persevere. The ones that are talented enough to find new and innovative ways to steal your stock at 16%.
And they were all supposed to be here. MK Big Boss unfortunately couldn't make it. But Anathema and Zomba both here.
And shout out to Anathema, too, making the announcement this was going to be their last event, unfortunately. So going out a little bit of a heartbreaker. I do believe they got upset, but still a good showing.
Yeah.
Like, I think 1 or 2 spots under their seat.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. It's a shame that it ended a little bit earlier. Would have loved to have cast in an Anathema set because a player that I've seen do so much good.
Yeah.
In the past couple years.
100% agree with you.
What's up? Okay. Are we resetting it, or are we still giving the game? Okay, so we are fixed. So it does sound as though both players are dealing with a little bit of an audio issue. The headphones were a little bit crackly. Could not quite hear what was going on, so we called it.
Yeah, looks like we're going to get back into the game in just a moment, but I think it was a good breather that needed to happen too. You know, we're just going back to back on these sets, and none of these sets have been particularly campy. Honestly, even when Sonic's been on the screen, it hasn't been very campy, but definitely with these other characters that theoretically are zoners, theoretically are trappers, it's been so fast-paced.
Now Zomba out of his seat yet again. Both players taking off their headphones one more time, so it looks like we might have yet another reset.
Yeah, gonna take just a moment here.
Sorry to slow the flow down for y'all, but you know what? That just gives us the opportunity to yap at you a wee bit more. So, Kevin, out of curiosity, for the folks that are left, who do you think is most likely to make that run?
The big run to the end? Let's see. Let me see the run with you really quickly.
So
because
you take a look at it, and I'll go ahead and give you my call.
Please.
I think it's going to be Mute.
Okay.
Mute has been one of those players that, despite the fact that they're the number 3 seed, they have been kind of playing with a little bit of chip on their back. Because I have not heard another person say, I think Mute is going to win the tournament.
Yeah, that's fair.
Folks forgot the Mutates not only won the last Patchwork, but got knocked into losers bracket super early by Ling's D3, getting that upset to avoid the Ditto.
Yes.
And since then, it went on a losers bracket run of all time to end up claiming this and the run back against Ling in grand finals. Got the bracket reset, forced Ling off D3, and just said, listen, we're going to do the Peach Ditto, and by the way, I'm better.
The bracket reset, and by the way, the only time in Smash history where I've seen them intentionally, at least in the last like 3 or 4 years, do a double blind selection at the grand finals reset, which actually worked out in Mutace's favor. He mind gamed it and won. Granted, it was a 3-1 victory in grand finals, so I think it was Peach versus DDD that in game 4 that Mutace was able to win. Otherwise, it would have gone to a game 5, and then he probably would have won on the counter pick anyways. But in any case, Mutace definitely has the mentality to use every tool available to win, and I don't think I see that from all the other players, right? Cola is a run-back Randy where he'll go back to PS2 out of pride alone. You've got, you know, all these players that have their various like things, accoutrement to them, but Mutace is a scrapper.
Mutace is here to win.
Yeah.
And they've shown time and time again that they have exactly what it takes to get that victory. Yeah. So I would not be surprised if we see a repeat champion here at Patchwork. So now I've given you my shot. What are you thinking?
Unpopular opinion maybe, or maybe I guess theoretically it's the most popular opinion. I think Shattuck's going to take it.
Okay.
I want so badly for Cola to upset Shattuck in winner's side. And even if Cola does upset Shattuck in winner's side, I think that Cola might be poised to take the whole thing. But Shattuck is the most, it has to do with age for sure, but the most adept player at adapting. Yep. He is we've shown this tournament, we've seen it, but also every tournament in the past where he's made winners runs, losers runs, various runs, Shattuck stocks are on the rise. He is so good at adapting mid-set, adapting pre-set, adapting mid-game to any and every play style. Even losing matchups look winning for Shattuck.
How bold of you to pick the #1 seed.
I know. Well, let me go back to my original pick. I want Cola to win. I think he's going to do it. It's Cola stocks.